And just real quick here, just to let everybody know, Community's mission is to improve queer, trans, and two-spirit lives through support, connection, and leadership. They envision a vibrant, diverse, and celebrated queer and trans communities where individuals are empowered to live their lives fully, free from discrimination. Thanks to your support, Community is able to ensure that no one in British Columbia gets left behind. And again, ! donate in the Twitch chat, speedromizer.live/donate. You can get the donations in on Tiltify, select those polls in the target that I mentioned earlier. All right, we are running for our next run here is going to be Spider-Man 2000, any percent easy. Spider-Man 2000, any percent easy by Spyran.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to Spider-Man 2000. My name is Spyran. I'm the teacher originally for this run. Unfortunately, the runner who was supposed to run this had to drop out, sadly. So instead, you're going to get to see me run this game in their place. Couple of things before we start. This game is very cool. In fact, I think it's one of the best speed games out there. One, because it's quite short, nice and easy. You can get a good run done in around 30-35 minutes. So if you've not got loads of time, here's a good game for you. Two, this game actually exists on multiple platforms, which isn't actually that well known. Most people would play this on the PlayStation version of the game, the PS1 version of the game specifically. But there's a Dreamcast version, which is the version we're going to play today, and I'll explain why in a second. There's a PC version, there's a Nintendo 64 version, there's even a Mac version if you fancy playing a Mac version, and there's a PC version as well. The reason we're playing Dreamcast today is because the Dreamcast version technically is the fastest version. If you play on Dreamcast, a PAL version of the Dreamcast, a PAL version of the game, and you run it using the VGA extension of the Dreamcast, you can actually run this in 60 FPS, which can't be done on any other version of this game. So you'll be able to see that this looks lovely and smooth, and you'll be able to see that as we get into the game. So, very exciting, very exciting. What we're going to do is we're going to start time when I press easy, which will be in 3, 2, 1, begin. So the basic kind of gist of this game is you've got to get from point A to point B. That's what happens in most levels. And we do that by web swinging generally. So Spider-Man's moveset consists of swinging through the air or zipping through the walls, I guess, like to walls and things. We're going to try and move through levels as fast as possible. And not die, like we nearly did there. That was very close, actually. You'll notice that the kind of floor is just kind of very grey and yellow and not really existing. That's because if you fall too far below the floor, you will die, and that's the end of the level. You've got to start again. So we're going to try not to do that. We're going to swing mostly in these outdoor areas, but there is some combat. And with combat comes some web moves. So Spider-Man has web moves in this game, two of which you're going to see now. That's a web ball, and this is a web dome. Spider-Man has web moves that we're going to use throughout the run to be able to defeat enemies faster, navigate the route faster, and all sorts of stuff. It's going to be very good. Now, you might obviously be familiar with Spider-Man. He can swing, he can climb walls, he's quite strong. You might not be familiar with his other ability to just casually jump through ceilings and walls, as we've just done there. So we've just glitched out of bounds and put ourselves back in bounds, and what that's done is essentially despawn a lot of this level, which makes it a lot easier to navigate around, and I've actually just fallen through the floor, so that's not good. Hold on, we're going to restart. Because we can't do that. That's not going to fare as well. So essentially, yeah, by jumping out of bounds, we deload a lot of the level, which allows us to be able to move around a lot easier. The objective of this level particular, you'll see it says like 1 of 5 hostages, 2 of 5 hostages at the bottom safe. We're supposed to be saving hostages, which we're doing by kind of just running near them. You can see there was 3 hostages there. The 2 hostages on the previous kind of area were invisible just because we went out of bounds. And that's that level, essentially. This bomb section, this kind of bank section, is basically us just going through and saving the hostages, saving the day in classic Spider-Man fashion. So we're actually going to ignore all the bank robbers in this next room. I'm going to skip straight across here. Normally you'd have to defeat all the bank robbers to get to this door, but Spider-Man just ignores doors. We can just zip through that door. It doesn't matter. We're going to hit this button to open this door, and then we're going to defeat all the guards in this room. Which gives us access to the bomb. We're then going to throw the bomb in a safe place. And you might notice that there's actually a safe place right here, because it's a safe. Get it? Oh my days. And we're going to hit the button. Normally a door closes there, but because we glitched through the door, the previous door, that doesn't exist. And we can just throw it in. We press the button and the game recognizes that we've got it in. We press the button and it counts that as the level completed. And there we go. And now we're going to go to the Daily Bugle because J. Jonah Jameson, everyone's favorite news anchor / journalist, is in trouble. You can see at the top, Scorpion is trying to get to him. And we're going to go save the day. So with a lot of these levels, when it comes to the outside areas, there's a couple of outside areas. In fact, we're going to get a lot of outside action shortly. It's just a lot of maneuvering around the levels as fast as possible and swinging in a fashion that's going to get you around the levels as fast as possible. Normally, Spider-Man can do a maximum of 2 swings before he'll hit an object. We want to ideally do 1 swing because 1 swing is faster. So in between swings, essentially, I cancel the swing and then restart the swing. And that way we can move around a lot faster than you'd otherwise. This is our first boss fight. This is Scorpion. So what we're going to do is put web gloves on, jump over here, and we're going to try and defeat him before J. Jonah Jameson can run into the next room, which I've kind of scuffed the combo a little bit here, so we might not be able to get this. Let me see. We might be in luck, actually, if we're quick. Oh, barely. Okay. So normally, if you're fast enough, you can defeat him before this cutscene plays. This is an unskippable cutscene. So obviously waste time, don't like that. We should be able to just drop kick him there, and he's down. And that's the boss fight. So we utilize a combo specifically for boss fights, which is 2 kicks and 1 punch with web gloves on, and that's how you deal the most damage to be able to defeat bosses and enemies faster than otherwise. But now we're going to be swinging outside, so you might be wondering, well, what the hell is actually going on in this story? So, for those who are unaware and have not played this game before, essentially the story goes that Spider-Man has been framed for a crime that he did not commit, and he's out to prove his innocence, and all the while figure out exactly what's going on and save the day, as he would in a typical comic run. So, essentially what's going on is, here now, we've escaped the kind of first section of the game, and now the police chasing us because they think it's reasonable to just blow the entire city to pieces just to get Spider-Man to stop running, I guess. So, very reasonable. This level, if you ever play this casually, what you would do is crawl up this building, essentially. You crawl all the way, but actually, because we're speedrunners, we try and find, obviously, the fastest way to do this. And because you can zip upwards to a ledge once you're in range of a ledge, what we can do, actually, is just climb up to a certain point on each of these sections, and as soon as we get there, we can just zip straight up and skip like 90% of the crawling that you actually do on this level. Very, very fast. So, we're going to move on. More swinging around in the outside area. A lot of this is just movement, so this really, of course we get shot there. The dangerous thing about the Dreamcast version, it seems the characters in this game are very accurate when it comes to weapons and firing weapons. So more often than not, in this version, more than others, you will get shot very, very often. So we've done some swinging. You'll notice one other thing we can do is actually zip to a wall. If we're close enough, instead of swinging, what we can actually do is just walk forward and press the swing button to zip to a location instead. That's actually faster than swinging. So in any location where we can do a zip to a wall, we're going to do that. And here's our first kind of fun glitch of the game. I guess you can call those other glitches that we've done fun, where you jump out of bounds. But this one was recently discovered, actually, just this last year. A lot of tricks, actually, in this game have been recently discovered, which is quite cool. But this one especially so. We've talked about other canon, definitely real Spider-Man abilities. This one's another one. Flying. He just flies, apparently. So if you set that trick up right and zip to zip kind of at a certain angle, Spider-Man will just fly through the air. And we don't really know why he does that. But he does, and thank goodness that he does, because it saves us a lot of time. I'm just going to make sure we are safely up here before we swing across. There we go. So we can fly through the air, that's fine. We're going to utilize that in 2 different areas. The level before and a level later on. So if you missed it the first time, don't worry. Flying Spider-Man will be coming back. We're nearly at the end now of this kind of section, the police chase section. And coming up next, we have our next boss fight, which is Rhino. Another classic Spider-Man Rogues Gallery character. Everyone loves him. He's got a big horn on his head. He looks actually like a rhino. He's not like a mechanical thing. This is more like akin to the Spider-Man like 90s cartoon, where he's just in a big rhino suit. And the quickest way to defeat Rhino is if we walk inside of Rhino here while he's stuck in the wall, and then just hold down 3 buttons to be able to do continuous web domes like this, and try not to get punched in the face. That actually deals a lot of damage to him. The like further you are inside the character model, the more damage you'll deal to him. So we try and get as close inside of that kind of the center of his character model there to be able to explode the web domes continuously over and over and defeat him just like that. Now, everyone's favorite character of this game, if you've played this casually, it's Venom. We're going to have a lot of time with Venom now, and it's all the better for it. So, what we need to do is we're going to swing through here. What you'll notice at the top of the screen, we've got almost like the reverse of the Race to the Bugle level where J. Jonah Jameson was being chased by Scorpion. What we need to do instead is not try for Venom to lose us by our little icon there at the top, getting too far away, too far to the left of the bar, because if we do, we lose Venom and we have to restart the level. And because we're trying to go fast, we can actually lose Venom by going too far ahead of him, not just by losing him because he gets too far ahead of us. So there's certain things where in this level, we're going to try and actually slow down a little bit. Obviously, we would like to not slow down, ideally. We want to try to be going as fast as possible, but we're going to try and slow down a little bit.
Sorry, lady. Didn't see a thing.
In this next section especially. That was an unskippable cutscene, so we just get to watch that. That's fine. Going to swing over to here and try and make our way over here, again, without losing Venom. This bit can get a bit dangerous, especially if you're trying to go fast. You'll notice that we quite rapidly get ahead of Venom, so I'm just going to make sure we play it especially safe and swing over to here. That should be perfectly fine. We get up here. Normally, Venom's already on this building, but because we're here already, we just skip that. You'll see the kind of cutscene plays as if he's jumped through that building, that billboard, but it's fine. We don't need him to do that. Okay, our first Venom boss fight. One of 2. So, Venom has the ability of going invisible. So what we're going to try and do is wait for him to appear, and then it's kick-punch combo, as we've come to expect. Where he spawns kind of on this level, he has set spawn locations, but actually where he spawns is RNG. So I'm just kind of trying to keep an eye on him where we can. That was pretty good, quite fast. He can be hit like there. That's the fastest way to do it. Get him in 3. And we move into the sewers. Very scary, the sewers, everyone. And what can you find in sewers? Well, lizards, of course. There are lizards in sewers. And these lizards, for some reason, are very bulky and muscly. In other versions of the game, other platforms, they're definitely not as chunky as they are in this one. So I like the Dreamcast version for that as well, for the chunky lizards. So we're going to go under these pipes, because that's the fastest way to go, as opposed to climbing over the top of the pipes. Can be a bit dangerous, though, because, again, if you fall too far to the floor, that will register as a death, and you'll have to start the level again. We're going to spam these web balls at the lizards here to defeat all them, which will allow us to move on to the next section of the game.
Open this door!
Knock, knock. Who is it? It's Venom.
Who is it?
There he is. So, we're slowly progressing to where the game gets a bit crazy. So, we've got this level, we've got a subway that we're going to ride on, and then the game gets a bit mad. But first up, we've got a level that is referred to in the community as God Pipes. That is because, ideally, what you want to do is swing around these pipes without touching them. That's the fastest way to do it. And I just nearly fell to my death, which is very good. So we're going to try not to do that. And use our targeting mode to realign ourselves.
Already at full health.
And jump across here. So that wasn't quite God Pipes. God Pipes, we call God Pipes if you manage to get to the end without touching any of the pipes. So I didn't quite do that. So I'm forever embarrassed. What a shame. And we're moving on to the subway. Now, the subway, a lot of people's favourite level, just because You really don't actually need to do this. This is basically an auto-scroller where you've got to wait for the train. You can see at the bottom to get from the left part of the train track to the right part of the train track. Normally, what you do casually is you'd fight all the lizards on here. They'd spawn endlessly, essentially, until the train gets to the end. But what we can do is, if this lizard wants to, once he turns to the right there and we jump inside of him, we can actually just turn here. I can put the controller down. I can raise my hands in the air, wave them around. I can go to the toilet if I wanted to. And we're just sat here basically for 2 minutes while this train gets to the end. So very good. This is quite good as well because, like I said, after this level is where things get really crazy. We've got skips and tricks on every level basically after this, which if you want to be like a top runner and get those top times, you're going to want to nail each and every one of these tricks generally first try. So that's coming up. So I guess while we're here and waiting, is there anything that the host would like to say in the meantime? Anything going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just like to remind everyone that if you would like to donate to Community, you can visit our Tiltify campaign at speedromizer.live/donate. You can also find the donate link below the stream or by typing !donate into the Twitch chat. All of your donations are sent directly to Community. There is no in-between or middleman or anything like that. They go straight through them, and the money immediately starts helping them. When you're donating, don't forget to put money towards any active challenges and polls. There is one challenge that we are attempting to meet, and there are some polls open from some Toho games as well as outfit choices if you would like to enter in for those.
Excellent. Please do. Please donate away. This is a great cause. One thing I'll mention just before we get to the end of this train track, top left you'll see that there's like a number there, the number 8. That refers to the web cartridges that we have. So the web cartridges are tied to our webs. So any ability or move that uses webs in any sort of way uses web cartridges. So we want to keep that as topped up as possible because things like the web moves, like the web dome, the web balls and stuff, use up a lot of web cartridges. So we want to keep that as stocked up as possible so that we can still use all those web moves where we would like to. Okay, right. So this is where, like I say, things get a bit crazy. We call this kind of section of the game the gauntlet. And I just got spat at by a lizard. That is disgusting. Oh my goodness me. So we're going to run to the end of this little hallway here. And you might think, oh no, a gate. How on earth are we going to get through this? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do is because there's a slight gap in this gate here, what I can actually do is aim and zip through that gate. Because Spider-Man's made of paper, he will just slip through that gap. And we skip a massive, massive level that normally takes a long, long time because you've got to go up and hit switches and all sorts of stuff. And we just skip it completely. This level is called Hidden Switches, and the switches are so hidden, in fact, that we don't need to press them if you're speedrunning. So I'm just going to jump up into this corner here and zip up to the roof and then out of bounds, and that's the end of the level, just there. Didn't need to press any switches. That's how hidden they are. Crazy. Okay, Tunnel Crawl. Now this is a very dangerous level because there's water here, you'll notice, and if we fall in the water, it's a good night for Spider-Man. So what we're going to try and do is get through this in one cycle. So the water will lower, and normally you'd have to wait in this middle section for it to raise back up again, but because we're speedrunners, we're going to try and go fast, get these roof zips, and make it across here, as we've done, excellent, before the water actually raises back up again. That is quite dangerous because if you touch the water, it will kill you. And then, like I said, do you remember when I said we're going to do the flying spider again? Well, this is the moment. So we're going to aim here, fly up this wall, over this wall, down the wall, and then to the end of level trigger, which is just there. Excellent form. Thank you, thank you. Lovely. Right, so next up is a Venom puzzle. This is Venom puzzle. I struggled to figure this out as a child, even though that camera cutscene that just played there actually shows you the exact 2 switches that you need to press. So we go to them straight away. We can actually use what's known as double button pressing, where we shoot a web ball to one of the switches, turn around and web another switch, and they basically hit them at the same time. It opens both. We stop ourselves having to watch 2 cutscenes essentially there, and we get through the level fairly quickly. Okay, another dangerous level because there's water again. We're going to get through this lizard maze. This is lizard maze as fast as we can. You can see there do some roof zips, but they're quite inconsistent. And you want to make sure that you can save yourself by zipping back up if you don't get the roof zip, because if you fall on this level, you will fall into the water, as mentioned, and have to start again. So normally there's a big long maze section here that we've got to get through and navigate. We don't like mazes, so we're just going to skip through this wall, as so. Swing over to here, and then to the end of the level, which is just down here. And we just skipped a massive, massive section of maze there, where it's just a lot of crawling, a lot of waiting around to just get to the end. It's not very fast, unless you can do those roof sips. And so we just move on, and it's all totally fine. All right, this level is hated by many. Venom 2, this is the second Venom fight. Now, ideally, we want Venom to spawn either here or straight across from us at the other end of this corridor section. But what he can also do is spawn on the two ledges, which he has done here. There we go. Which isn't ideal because it scuffs us completely. He can grab us there like that a lot quicker than he would otherwise. And it slows us down massively. He's spawned very quick there. Oh, come back, Venom. Oh my days. Okay, so this is when Venom gets really cruel. And then he despawns, of course he does. So ideally, you do this in 3, like we did last time, where you finish him off in three kind of attacks. That's much better. So there's no way really to manipulate where he spawns. We just kind of stand here and hope that he spawns the places we want. I'm going to hope that he jumps here. He does. Excellent. We should only need one more attack to finish him off, and he spawns right there. You'll notice you can see his shadow before he spawns, so that's how you can kind of know where he's going to be. But that level's rough because of the RNG. That level can absolutely ruin a good run's time, just because Venom can decide to be really cruel and spawn in every location you don't want him to, and it's not great. But now we've defeated Venom, and Venom's actually a good guy now. He's going to help us out. So we're going to go to the Daily Bugle. And the Daily Bugle, again, another place where we can just go through walls. So we'll actually just zip through this wall here, which by doing so, despawns a lot of the level again, which allows us to jump to the exit trigger just there. And now we're going to go to an elevator. Elevators, again, can also be skipped. If we just move down this wall, we can aim at the other wall behind us. And by holding down the swing button as we aim at this opposite wall, should actually, there we go, put us out of bounds. And then I can just jump to the exit trigger, which is just there. And we carry on, guys. This is what I'm saying. Crazy, crazy skips. If you're a fan of glitches and skips and things like that aren't like too crazy to like execute, but look cool, this is the game for you. So we're gonna now destroy these generators that are spawning the symbiotes in. They're the pink things. And normally there's 2 more generators that you've got to do, but we're going to ignore the last 2 generators. We're going to actually glitch through this gate that's dropped here, and then just circle jump around here to the end of the level. Nice and easy. And now another scary level, if you're a new runner, because this takes some quite precise timing. This is Bugle Basement. So what we're going to try and do here is jump back through this gate just in here in front of us before the gate closes. So the gate will close when our spidey sense goes off. So we're going to try and see. Oh, I've scuffed it. Okay, what we're going to do is restart the level. We're going to try that again. This is what I mean. You've got to turn around quite quick and get back through that gate before it closes. If we manage to do that, the level will despawn, and we can get around again this level a lot faster than we would otherwise if we were doing this casually. Let's try this again. Get the line up. And spin around. Oh, okay, I think the spider sense didn't quite go off. Try it again. Line up. Oh, okay, we got it. My spider sense didn't go off though, interestingly. Okay, we jump around here. Out of bounds, we go under the map. And we swing across long enough for the lap to stay despawned, and then we're just going to jump around this door.
That's the guy who framed.
And that's the end of the level. So normally, again, like I said, that would be quite long, but we do manage to skip it by going out of bounds. It's our next boss fight, though, now. This one's a bit different from previous boss fights. It's Mysterio, though. He's very tall. So what we need to do is, you see these glowing conduits on his body. We've got to blow all these off with our web balls. And by doing so, hold on, just jump out of the way there.
I can take him out.
There we go. By doing so, we can defeat him quite quickly. We also want to make sure we're kind of stood on this edge here, so that when he does this grab move, you'll see normally he would grab us, throw us down to the floor there, but by standing right on the edge of that platform, he actually just phases straight through us, which means we can just stand in that position, fire all the web balls we want, and it's no issue whatsoever. All right, we're kind of in the last bit. Last kind of section of the game now. Not too much left to go. But this one, again, another hard trick because it takes some precision. So this is, again, another long level casually. But what we're going to do is jump out of bounds by going in between the crate and the barrel there. We're going to jump and stop at a certain point there to actually just jump straight to the end of the level. Normally, you have to be quite precise though with when you stop moving forward and when you jump and things like that for that particular level, which we did quite well there actually. If you miss that, the end of level trigger there is quite small, so if you miss that, you will have to start that level all over again, and you'll be stuck doing that over and over until essentially you get that quite precise jump to the end of level trigger. So we managed that first try though, so let's go. Makes up a little bit for some other scuffery that has gone on this run. That's all fine. And we're kind of in the last stretch, like I say, of the game now, so we're in the, I guess, storyline-wise, if you want to follow along with what's happening in the story of the game. We've tracked the bad guys to this underwater lair, so we're going now to confront them, to find out who it is, who's been setting us up and been stealing all the things and doing all the crime and things like that. This level coming up is called Stopping the Fog, and very recently a skip was discovered for this to be able to do this level a lot faster than intentionally you would. So we're going to swing first of all to this security control room, hit this switch to activate the other switches that are around the room, and normally you'd have to go to 3 different doors to activate a switch, but what we're actually going to do is just skip to 1. We double button press that. You'll see we did a web ball and then a web, just a regular web, to set that cutscene going off twice, and then we can hit it once more, and that's just the end of the level for some reason. Normally, you'd have to go around and hit 3 individual switches, but by picking up the fire web kind of cartridge there, and by doing the web ball and then the web to hit the button twice, for some reason it doesn't register that you've hit that switch, even though the cutscene plays and it acts as if you've done it. So as long as you just hit that switch 3 times, it recognizes it as the 3 switches have been hit on that level, and it just allows you to progress. If you do that wrong though, you can actually crash your game. So make sure you do that right if you're going to run this. There's a couple of some special ways that you kind of have to do that based on the actual platform you're running on as well. It's different for each platform, so watch out for that. Anyway, guys, look, it's Dr. Octopus. It was Dr. Octopus the whole time, and he's the bad guy. So what we're going to try and do here is defeat him in one cycle. What we've got to try and do is hit all these buttons to drop this shield that's surrounding him. And if in theory now we do this right, we're going to hit this button, wait for him to attack again. We don't want him to be in an attack cycle. Hit the button, web gloves on, jump, drop kick, 2 kick punch combos, and then a web dome. Oh no, it didn't do a web dome. Oh, okay, for some reason it didn't do a web dome. I must have pressed the buttons wrong. That's fine. So ideally, if you'd have done a web dome there at the end, just after that combo, that would have actually been enough damage to finish him off before the bubble came back up, the shield came back up. Very sadly, we did not get that, but that's fine. So we're just going to jump around here. This is his second cycle, where it's the exact same thing, but he's just up on his tentacles now. Just got to jump around, try not to get hit. There we go. And we'll just beat him up when he comes back down. There we go. And that's Dr. Octopus. Wow, so you might think, wow, so he's the bad guy, right? That's the end of the level. That's the end of the game. It's not. There's another bad person. We had Venom, and now we have Carnage. Here he is. Carnage, quite a simple boss fight. We've just got to throw him into this sonic bubble and just spam the web balls. Keep him trapped inside. So the web balls, you can see, do very little like chip damage. The main damage comes from when that sonic bubble turns on. And it deals a massive amount of damage. So we want to keep him inside the sonic bubble for as much as we can. And by spamming web balls and pushing him into like the generators that are around this circle, what we can actually do is keep him trapped inside here. And it just allows us to deal as much damage as possible and defeat him quite fast. There we go, he's down. And you might be thinking, wow, well, that's both bosses defeated then. What can possibly be next? This is not the end of the game, clearly. There's something else still to come. Well, if you've played this game before, you know exactly what's coming. It's nightmare fuel. Listen to this man scream. Awful. Monster Rock. It's a combination of Carnage and Dr. Octopus, and in fact, so powerful that this isn't even a boss fight. We've actually just got to run. We've got to run away because it's too scary. And if you play this game casually as a child, this probably gave you nightmares because you're running away from a big scary person who's growling at you, and it's just very scary generally. So, not too much really going on here. All we've got to do is try not to be as slow as possible, and we've got to just navigate our way through this maze. The best way really to do this is just to kind of do this so much that you kind of know where to go and know where the turns are and the corners are in this maze. You can't lose track of Monster Rock, he'll just chase you continuously. So you're just trying to get to the end of this level basically as fast as possible. We're going to get to the last floor, and that'll be when time comes, essentially. When the screen goes black at the end of this level, that will be the end of the game. So time is coming up in about a minute, I'd like to say. Maybe just over a minute. So be ready for that. But yeah, essentially, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here, I guess we can do a little roundup here. If you enjoyed what you've seen, come join us on the Spider-Man Speedruns Discord. We have our own Discord for this game and for its sequel, Enter Electro, because both games are pretty similar in a lot of ways. Both run on the same engine. They both use quite similar tricks. So if you're interested in what you've seen today, come run this game. Again, quite short. You've got a lot of options in terms of platforms to run on, based on what you like. Shout out to everyone in the Spider-Man community, of course. I picked up this game a year ago, and I've had a great time with this. World record holder, by the way, in a couple of categories, so shout out to that. And yeah, time is coming up, and now, time. And that's the end of the game. So we've defeated all the enemies, we've saved the day, Spider-Man is the hero once again. And that's Spider-Man, guys. So as I've said, if you want to run this game, come run this game. It's really good fun. The mechanics are good fun. It's the tricks are good fun. Lots of tricks to learn, from beginner tricks to kind of advanced tricks. Plenty of things to go. What was my final time on that, by the way, if I could just ask?
Hit a 28:15.
28:15, which is pretty sick, okay? That's pretty good. So, if you like to run this game, like I say, fastest version is the Dreamcast version if you want to run that, but the other versions are just good. In fact, some other versions have exclusive tricks. The PlayStation version is the version I started with, and that's some exclusive tricks that can't be done in any other version. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I've been Spyran. This has been Spider-Man. Thank you for watching. Please do continue to donate and watch the rest of Speedromizer. I will be back technically for my actual run that I was going to be doing, which is Portal 2, tomorrow, at this kind of same time, actually. So that's quite good. So look forward to that. Thank you very much for having me, and I'll see you when I see you.
Are so obvious.
Okay.